Another day, another poor country we've essentially invaded in the name of peace and democracy, and left in absolute ruins. Left with a new government that is full of fraud and corruption. Meet or re-meet Iraq. Anti-corruption protesters storm Baghdad's green zone and actually enter parliament. Hundreds of supporters of influential Iraqi Shiite clerical Muqtada al-Sadr, who have been protesting against corruption, have stormed Baghdad's green zone. The crowds entered the parliamentary building. A state of emergency has been declared in the Iraqi capital. To prevent more protesters entering the green zone, Iraqi security forces have fired tear gas and shot bullets into the air, Reuters reported, citing its sources in the police, as well as al-Sadr's office. To keep protesters from crossing a bridge near the U.S. Embassy, of course, SWAT troops and Presidential Guard forces have been deployed, according to Reuters. A special forces unit with armored vehicles from the Iraqi army has been dispatched to protect sensitive sites in the area, while security personnel have joined forces with al-Sadr's militiamen to control the protesters' movements, the news agency reported. Earlier in the day, all entrances to Baghdad were shut as a precautionary measure to maintain the capital's security. Reuters reported, citing an unnamed security official. The demonstrators decided to break into a heavily fortified area which holds government buildings and numerous foreign embassies after lawmakers failed to pass a vote on making changes to the current Iraqi government. Shouting, quote, "The cowards ran away." In reference to the MPs who were leaving the parliament building, they managed to make their way into the green zone and subsequently into the parliament building. The demonstrators smashed glass and furniture while another group set a vehicle on fire. Many of them later left the parliamentary building and had been reportedly started preparing for a sit-in outside. While on their way to the parliamentary building, angry protesters damaged several vehicles which they believed belonged to lawmakers. The UN mission for Iraq has released a statement saying it is, quote, "gravely concerned by today's developments in Baghdad," end quote. I would be concerned too when you're part of the club and the people have had enough. Because when the people have had enough, as Gerald Salente says, when they don't have anything else left to lose, they lose it. And maybe these Iraqi citizens are at that point where they have nothing else left to lose, and now they've lost it and said, we're going to storm the damn gates. You bastards were promised us that you were going to vote to essentially weed out corruption, and the vote failed. So here we are. And as they said, these people ran like cowards. A spokesman for the United Nations and 4 Western diplomats who were inside the green zone said their compounds were in lockdown. They denied reports that staff at the missions had been evacuated. No curfew has been imposed, according to 2 security officials who spoke to Reuters. A Kurdish MP is currently trapped inside the parliamentary building, the Rudaw News Network reported. A guard at one of the checkpoints said the demonstrators had not been searched before entering the area. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's accurate, considering they stormed the damn gates. You know, I don't think they're out there going to accept your stop and frisk techniques. The breach will come as an embarrassment to the Iraqi government. The protesters were able to get through what should have been a heavily secured area. The protesters were waving Iraqi flags and were chanting, "Peaceful, peaceful," while others were standing on the outer wall of the green zone. There were thousands more demonstrators waiting outside the gates of the fortified area. Some protesters also headed in the direction of the PM's office, or Prime Minister's office building. Iraqi President Fuad Massoum has called on the protesters to, quote, "calm down." Okay. Some of the protesters subsequently left the parliament building and have been instructed to do so by al-Sadr. That's kind of their leader at the moment, the one who wants to root out and get rid of the corruption. Meanwhile, al-Sadr himself said that he could destroy Iraq's government if he needed to, essentially, but is choosing to try the politically correct way, which is, let's protest. You didn't pass the vote today like you were supposed to? Let's protest. And they're going to have to see what happens. And my magic 8-ball just told me that good luck sitting in and doing nothing. You're going to have to get your hands dirty. Matter of fact, I didn't even need to read that from the magic 8-ball, because the magic 8-ball didn't even say that. But that is history saying that. You can't stand around holding a sign or sitting down and get something done. I'll tell you what, go to work tomorrow and just sit there. Have a sit-in. Don't type on the keyboard. Don't work. Or if you're out, in the services industry and you're actually getting physical out there, just kind of sit in your truck all day. Let me know how that works out for you. I am promising you that I will not make any agreements with other politicians. I work for the benefit of the nation, Sadr said in a speech in the holy city of Najaf, as cited by Ruda News. If the nation lets me, I can end the current government and form a new one without any corruption, he added. There are reports on social media that some of the protesters are heading towards Baghdad airport in order to try and prevent the MPs from leaving the capital. The Russian embassy in Baghdad continues to work as normal, a member of the diplomatic mission told RIA. Well, of course, they ain't got no beef with the Russians. Of course not. Russia didn't go in there, destroy your country, topple it, just kill your leader, and then instill a puppet government that the people are tired of dealing with now. We are keeping an eye on how events are developing, especially around the parliament. However, the local press is reporting that the protests are peaceful in nature. Protesters supporting al-Sadr have been gathering outside the Green Zone since March 18th, actually, taking part in sit-ins. Al-Sadr wants Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi to replace his cabinet with people from outside the party in order to tackle rampant corruption. Joaquin Flores from the Independent Journalists Associations for Peace spoke to Russia Today and said that Abadi finds himself in a difficult position in trying to appease different groups who have a diverse range of goals. I've got the citizens and these people that just want to live their life normally, and you don't like the corruption. But then I've got these other groups over here that throw money my way and make me promises and enrich me, and decisions. It's a tough one. He is between a rock and a hard place. Any concession he makes will show signs of weakness. On the other hand, continuing the line that he is on will ultimately undermine his authority, he said. Abadi was expected to announce 5 new members on Saturday, but the session was eventually postponed, which was the catalyst for the subsequent violence. The influential cleric believes, quote, all the ministers should be changed, and he would like to see a revolution against corruption. Despite his tough line against the government, al-Sadr has implored his followers not to resort to violence. The cleric also praised the police for their cooperation and devotion to their people. But I'm here to tell you, if this doesn't work out, they can't replace these bastards with other people who hopefully aren't corrupt. As I said, let me know how that works out for you standing around, sitting and doing nothing. You're going to have to get hands on. It's the only way. It's what history has told me, and it's exactly why I'm saying this, because I already know what's going to happen if things don't change. History says so. How do you stop a king from abusing his power? Do you just stand outside his castle and hold a sign and have a sit-in, a little picnic? Or do you storm the damn gates and grab his ass And as you're breaking down his door, he's probably already in session. I'm changing the rules now. Stop. I'm changing the rules now. New law. You win. And usually by that time, it's too late. Because by that time, the king has already sent out his henchmen to go deal with these people. Some have died. Some are very hurt. Now they're pissed off. And there's nothing you can do as the king to appease them, except give your life, which is what they're there to take. Now, you would think these days and age, we don't have to do that kind of stuff. We're civilized and we're, more technologically advanced and socially advanced. We don't live in the barbaric ages anymore. Until you have nothing else left to lose and you lose it. So, yeah, actually, no. We left that place in shambles. Libya, same story. Yemen, same story. That's what we do. We bring nothing but death and destruction under the guise of democracy and peace and liberating you from your dictatorship. In which case, they are left in worse situation. Take care.